Doing what, bud? What? Kilo's got to go up in the bedroom before we start this malt liquor video. The malt liquor video, we're going to be talking about Machette. Machette469. Malt liquor. Not going to be power drinking. I've got some stuff to tell you children. Gather around, listen to a story about YouTubers past. YouTubers that, despite my giving you their channel name, you cannot find them. They've vanished into the multiverse. Heavy duty multiverse. Gone up to malt liquor heaven with Sir Malty79. Anyway, there once was this cat named Machette, and I'll tell you the very first time I saw a Machette video. He was this guy, kind of like this kind of lean, muscular guy, like had this almost like artistic beard, like that really thin stubble, that thin, thick stubble, if you know what I mean. Like it looks like you could just draw designs in it. Sitting outside in his backyard. It looks like maybe like a manufactured home or something like that. And he's got just the back of the house, a little bit of shrubbery behind him, and the electrical box. And on that electrical box is a little deer. And Machette sits down to drink a malt liquor, and pretty much just shoot the shit. But you're gonna die. And he did this one particular thing that stuck in my mind. While he's drinking the malt liquor, he puts it down and says something like, "Hey, Cindy Lou, you just getting off from school? Oh, did you have a good day? You got homework to do? Are your parents home? No? Oh. Well, if you need any help with that homework, Cindy, I'll just be right here. You can come get me if you need me. Malt liquor." And I was just like, you didn't hear like a girl's voice in the background. So it was like this one-sided drama, a little vignette that left you kind of wondering, now was it really a high school girl walking through his backyard? That was Machette. Machette left you wondering. And then Machette, based on that little deer sitting on top of the little electrical box outside his house, began to slowly build layer after layer of the Machette persona. Be a couple little extra things you'd see in the background, and eventually it worked its way up to a mask, a leather jacket, a big brimmed black hat with golden embroidery around it. And at first, like, it was just his refrigerator. He'd open his refrigerator, there'd be like a malt liquor bottle, like with a little bit of a, almost like an altar in his fridge to worship malt liquor. And the fridge got more and more detailed, the contents of the fridge, until it was like this. It was almost like a Christmas presentation at a Macy's or something like that. You look in this window and she's like, everything is Christmassy. You look in, there's my cell phone. You look into his fridge and it's like malt Christmas in his fridge. But then he got a new house too about this time, and his whole house started to be filled with this most, like, I want to call it kitschy, what do you call that? This kind of like thrift store-esque, slash slight antique-esque kind of home. And the entire thing looked like a malt liquor set. And like one time, like he drove his motorbike. He had like this big hog. He drove it straight into his house, jumped off his motorbike, launched himself across his couch, which is what he'd do an awful lot. Like just do this, like just toss himself into the air and land perfectly on the couch, whip up his malt, and then like drink it down. But like one time, like his bed had like these posts coming off it. They had, and one time it looked like he was flagpoling off it, where you grab a hold of a post and then stick your legs straight out, and he just held that. And I'm like, it doesn't look possible what he's doing. Like, and then he like dropped to the ground and did like a barrel roll across the top of his couch, landed down there and started drinking malt liquor again. He'd play music, he'd tell stories, he'd often tell exaggerated stories about bizarre skills, that like he's a double dutch champion, he's a hopscotch champion, he's a rock skipping champion. He was always like looking around, like he thought someone might be sneaking up on him in his house. I tell ya, he did not hurry. Machette never hurried. He slowly added these things, and like he worked into the kitchen once, and even in his kitchen he brought all those little artistic things, and he like I don't know, you made eggs or something like that. People gave him a hard time about the kind of skillet he used. He used like a Teflon skillet with like a metal spatula. And he's like, oh, I knew I was gonna get a hard time about that, but I couldn't find my rubber spatula. Oh, thing about Machette. He would fight with people in comments until they'd stop. Over 100 comments in a comment thread with Machette is not unusual. If you kept fighting, Machette kept fighting. But his insults were just like his boasts. He's like, you can't double dutch like I could double dutch, and he'd call people by different names. He'd call people like Judy, Billy, Bobby. So like it kind of sounded like he was arguing with like 5 or 6 different people. Just brilliant, just brilliant. Would argue with anybody, would fight with anybody. And one particular year, he got my total sincere vote for the #1 provider of malt liquor entertainment. As much as I wanted to give it to Trent, Steel Worldwide, this one particular year, Machette's videos were golden. He was just so freaking amazing. There's no way you were ever going to miss a Machette video. I would say it was safe to say that for all the time Machette made videos, I saw every single one. God, I used to love them so much. I'd be giggling afterwards, just until I saw the next Machette video. I'd be like at work or walking the dog, and suddenly I'd just start giggling about the Machette video. So funny. And what happened to Machette? You might say, as we finish this up, this little story about Machette. I think he met this sexy little redhead, not me, an actual sexy little redhead woman. And as sometimes love changes your life, she probably just let him know in the most polite way possible that like your malt liquor drinking days on YouTube are over. So I often think when someone says sexy little redhead, I often think the devil. So like Machette was snatched up by the sexy little redhead, i.e. are also known as the devil, and she took him away from us. But you know, like the kind of thing about like Machette getting dragged off to hell, he's just gonna make it a better place. He's just gonna take over, and then he'll leave whenever he wants and go up to malt liquor heaven, and no one's gonna stop him because he's Machette. Miss you so much, Machette, if you're still out there, buddy.